Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Innovation Showcase Theater. My name's Toby, and I have the pleasure of being your host today. Now, we all know that to thrive in the new world of digital business, companies have to stay on top of innovation like never before. So we're bringing you 11 sessions here in the Innovation Showcase Theater, where we'll be sharing with you the latest solutions, service innovations, and best practices, which we know will inspire and inform you here at Cisco Live 2019. Now, the speed of change has never been faster, with both unprecedented opportunities and risks on your business. Now, delivering the outcomes you need to succeed in this hyper-connected world requires carefully navigating your digital transformation despite increasing challenges. In this session, Alistair Wildman, head of Cisco's customer experience in EMEAR, and Tony Brook, director product manager at Cisco, will share how Cisco leverages its unmatched intellectual property to develop services that accelerate your success like no one else can. Now, applying machine learning and data analytics to its unique global data set, Cisco can help businesses foresee the unpredictable, automate the unmanageable, and answer the unsolvable to help your businesses reach new heights. Ladies and gentlemen, Alistair Wildman.
Yes, mate. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our session today. My name's Alistair Wildman from Cisco, and this is my first time at Cisco Live. I've actually been at Cisco for about 7 or 8 months now, so I'm still a newcomer-ish. And it's the first time I've ever been to this wonderful show and the first time I've ever presented on this stage. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take you through a little bit of one of the great solutions that we have as part of Cisco customer experience. But before I go into the detail of this, does anybody not know what the customer experience team is here for? Does anyone not recognize this logo on my back? Everybody knows about customer experience? Shall I give you a little bit of background? Yeah, okay, I will do. Thank you. Around about 8 or 9 months ago, we decided that we were going to, as part of Cisco's transformation and our revolution, we decided to create a new organization within Cisco. It's around about 27,000 people. It's about a third of the company. And we took together 6 different parts of our post-sales organization and put them all into one team. So we took our amazing support services team, we took our ninja professional services team, we took our fantastic managed service team, along with our renewals organization, our customer success organization, and our operations and data and platform teams. And we brought them all together into one organization. And it's called customer experience. We didn't call it services because it's more than just services. And we didn't call it customer success because it's more than just customer success. So the customer experience team is the post-sales organization that works with our customers and partners to make sure you see value from the technology and the solutions that you buy from Cisco. So that's where the name comes from. Now, what else have we been doing at Cisco? Well, I think you've probably seen this slide now several times throughout the journey today because a number of presentations have used the same stats. But we've been doing a lot of listening to our customers. And we've been asking you questions. What do you want help with? And everyone, these are the top 4 answers that came back. The first thing that comes back is that you want help with complexity. You know, we're becoming more complex. The world is becoming more complex. The evolutions of the clouds and the on-premise and the network, it's all adding complexity. And our customers and partners are telling us that you want help with that complexity. The second most popular request we get for is you want help with agility. Because your demands and the demands of your customers, your business partners, your internal customers are that you've got to get things done quickly. And you need help with agility to give you speed and give you back time. The third thing, and actually I would have thought that would have come out, I would have thought this would have been number 1 actually, but it seems to have come third. I actually think this is the most important thing is security. I mean, security is absolutely everywhere now. It was just really interesting. I was talking to one of my colleagues, Greg, and he was saying, did you get the email 2 days ago which told you your mailbox was full? And I was like, yeah, I did do. He said, did you click on it? And I said, no, I forgot to click on it. But you know what I did? I cleaned out all my mailbox and deleted all my sent items. He said, no, it was from internal IT to see if you were stupid enough to click on it. Now, Greg did click on it, so well done, Greg. But I didn't. I just killed every email I had thinking, oh my God, I've come to the end of my mailbox. But you know what? This is just one form, security. And I know how busy our security stands have been over there. So security is a massive issue. And it's not going to go away, and it will continue. And finally, talent. People. I mean, this is a great recruitment fair for us all. Obviously, we know that you guys are struggling. We are struggling with talent. We've currently got over 300 open roles in our EMEA organization. And it's a talent war out there. We're competing with ourselves, we're competing with our competition, and we're competing with the fact there's not enough roles. Currently, in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, there are over 500,000 open job roles for IT at the moment, open across the whole. There's about 75,000 in Germany, there's 55,000 in the UK, and it goes on and it goes on. So we know that you need help with talent, and that is an absolutely key thing. As part of our evolution, and as we looked at ourselves at Cisco, and we kind of put a mirror up to ourselves, there's this great quote which came inside the Forbes magazine. And what it really says is that by 2020, customer experience will overtake price and product or functionality as the key differentiator when customers make decisions. And we see that ourselves at Cisco. We've got amazing product groups that bring out fantastic solutions. But we know in 1 or 2 quarters, the companies that we compete with, they will have similar products and similar functionalities. We can't compete on price alone. If you compete on price, it doesn't work. And we know that one of the biggest drivers why customers are, why you're all here, and why we love doing business with you as Cisco is because of our customer experience. And this really helps when you think about how we named our organization, because everything we do at Cisco in Cisco Experience is putting the customer at the center. Okay, this is a little bit about, now, has anyone seen this graphic before? It's been on a few slides, yeah, So this is what we call the racetrack. And this is not a Cisco slide, by the way. It's actually an industry slide. But if you think about where we've been at Cisco, we are absolutely fantastic at the right-hand side. Sorry, it's the other way around. Which is basically our sales organization. We've got incredibly commercial. We love to get deals done. We're really good at explaining the need, evaluating, and then the purchase. But what we hadn't done a great job on, and that's why we brought these 6 different teams together, was actually the left-hand side, which is actually the post-sales organization. And so right now, you'll see a lot of focus as you talk to our teams in the stands, as you talk to our professional service colleagues, as you talk to our support organization about how we help customers. When you buy the solutions and the technology, we want to make sure you see value from everything you're buying. And what we will do as part of the customer experience is we're tracking all our customers with our technologies through what we call the Lifecycle. And this figure of 8 racetrack is the Lifecycle. And we want to make sure that as you roll out the WebEx technology, you're using DNA Center, you've got a fantastic automation project with ACI. We can move customers through these little dots, we call them pit stops, with a view that when you get to renew, it's a fantastic experience. You've moved from using to choosing to loving Cisco, and that we can renew our business together. And that's the aim of everything we do here within the customer experience team. And again, to help augment that, we have a fantastic suite of services. So I said before, we've got our incredible managed service organization. We've got our support services, which is a huge number of people, award-winning TAC. We've got the business critical services. We've got our advisory services, security, our application development services, and design and implementation. But today, what I want to focus on is just one of those areas, okay, because it's a short presentation. So what I want to talk to you is about how I think we can help you. So first of all, I want to help you get more value from the money you're spending with Cisco. The second thing that I want to talk about today is how we can help you de-risk those investments. And the third thing is definitely a key thing for me is how can I accelerate you and how can I move you faster? And it's my great pleasure to welcome on stage a great colleague and friend of mine, Tony Brook, who's going to talk a little bit about our business critical services. I didn't high five you. So Tony, is this a new service? I mean, do we have, how many customers are using Business Critical?
No, it's not a new service. Before I do that, he threatened to high-five me on stand, which is so not an English thing to do, but we'll do it anyway.
Awesome. So Tony, tell us a little about Business Critical.
Well, it's actually a service we've been going for well over 10 years, actually. And from that perspective, we've been delivering these services, customers consuming that over the last 10 years, and in excess of 3,000 customers are using that service today. What's changed is we're now embedding automation into that service. Coupled with the Cisco expertise and the analytics in that service is really helping us drive real value for our customers. And that's what we're really focused on with Business Critical Services. And I'll talk a bit more about that. I guess the starting point in this has to be in terms of what's standing in the way of our customers' growth and transformation today. From our experience, and coupled with and underpinned with Gartner's research in this, we found that 70% of IT budget is focused on run the business, with just 30% focused on grow and transformation. And that represents a huge challenge for our customers, and how they address that and move that budget from operations and run the business into those grow and transformation to really help transform and drive change in the business. And that's where business critical services come in. It's absolutely focused on how we help accelerate and drive transformation and help operationalize the assets, the network in the run IT aspects. And that's what we're focused on. So how are we addressing that challenge with business critical services? Well, firstly, it's a subscription-based service that is focused on providing services for operations, engineering, and architecture. And the important point here, it's Cisco expertise combined with analytics and automation that's helping do that. From an operations perspective, we're absolutely laser-focused on helping our customers drive operational value in the network. And that's looking at how we optimize and drive optimization, whether it's configuration or design in the operations environment. From an engineering perspective, it's absolutely focused on how we help implement better implementation of the assets that they're purchasing today. And of course, from an architecture point of view, it's how we help them make the right technology choices and ultimately the right design architecture to meet the demands of the business. And for business critical services today, it's all about the expertise, the analytics, and the automation. But fundamentally, it's about us driving a customer experience that really truly exploits the networks and helps our customers get more value out of the investment they've made in their network. And that's what we're doing.
So Tony, amazing, 3,000 customers today. That's a fantastic service. So Tony, can you tell me a little bit more about how expertise and analytics can actually help drive value for our customers?
Let me break that down a little bit further. From an analytics perspective, we absolutely monitor the network, and we're capturing data like syslog information, hardware information, software information, and we're collating that information and correlating that with an intellectual capital of the assets that we've got in our environment and the global network. So we're looking at what is the best practice from a configuration point of view, from an implementation point of view, and we're exposing that data in the form of a graphical interface, what we call business critical insights. But it's the use of that data and the insights from that data coupled with the engineer that is really crucially important. It's one thing to capture the data in the network, it's quite another to compare that with a global network that Cisco monitor. And so that's where we're getting the value from that. So the value is in the data and the insights there, but also coupled with the engineering and what we call expert care services. Let me expand on the expertise piece. The expertise is coupled with what we call the expert care service. This is not a managed service. It's a premium support service. From an IT operations point of view, it's fundamentally ITIL. It's a service management function. It's a service operations function. But it's coupled with a customer engineer. And the important piece here is that customer engineer knows your entire network end to end. And the operations manager works with the engineer to make sure that we drive operational efficiencies and drive value in the investment you've made in the network. So they're constantly looking at and monitoring your network, looking at the data and the insights we've captured from monitoring your network, and looking at where we can improve and drive best practice from an implementation point of view.
Fantastic, Tony. But Tony, customers, they already have partnerships and great engineering skills. How does this service drive, operational efficiencies and reduce costs? And also, what are we doing around automation for our customers?
Okay, I mentioned earlier the need for automation. The service has been going for 10 years, and we've evolved the service. We're absolutely driving automation and analytics in the network. And the first example is what we call automated fault management, or essentially automated incident management. Over the last few years, we've been working with the BEs, and we've developed an intellectual capital of signatures in a database. And what we're doing is we're monitoring the customer's network to look at the network and see if there's any matching with the signatures that we have in our database with those of the customer. When we find that, the application automatically triggers an event. It creates an incident, and it creates a TAC case. So as soon as the signatures are matched in the database, i.e. there's an incident in the network, a fault, that automatically creates a case with TAC. The important thing here is that automation is not just a Cisco piece of automation. We've written and developed that so that we can integrate with IT service management platforms to triage. So the whole triaging activity now becomes automated, not just with Cisco TAC, but with our customer as well. And that whole automation and the triaging of those activities is really driving operational efficiency. It's that automation from a triage and service desk perspective that's taking literally hours out of an incident. So from an automated fault management perspective, that's what we're doing, and that's leading to a faster time to detection and a faster time to resolution, which from a customer's perspective is all about reducing downtime and improving resolution and response times. And this AFM is truly doing this. We're doing this in our customers today. The other piece is fingerprinting, and I guess everybody wants to be predictable. Well, from a Cisco perspective, we truly are. We've got patents pending in this capability. And from a fingerprinting point of view, what we're doing is we're looking at device profiling. We're identifying every single device, and we're looking at patterns in those devices to identify potential high-risk assets. So from a network perspective, we're looking at pattern match and looking at the assets across your network and looking at what potential risks there are. What that does, that device profiling, an individual asset perspective, it identifies high-risk devices. And I mentioned business critical services before, the Insights portal, is that exposes those risks in the form of risk patterns in the network. And so from a network perspective, I can begin to see potential risks associated with the assets in my network as a percentage. And that's really important for me because I can now begin to predict potential outages in my network based on that profile that's being done with fingerprinting. And so that's what we're doing from an automation perspective. And actually, from a predictive network perspective, that's
brilliant. So, Tony, earlier I spoke about customers need to accelerate innovation and reduce risk. Can you provide a few examples of what we're doing in this area?
Yeah.
After you've had a drink.
Vodka. Yeah, absolutely, Alistair. I think the key thing here is, and this is a hugely important piece, when any customer makes an investment in Cisco technology, which is fantastic, by the way, it's hugely important when they deploy those assets in the network that you take all the risk. I don't want to start spending $100,000 on assets, then deploying it in my production network for you to create outages. So from my perspective as a customer, I want to make sure that you de-risk that implementation. It's not just about buying an asset. I want you to help me accelerate the adoption of that technology and de-risk that. And with continuous automation and integration testing, this is a set of capabilities where we provide on-site testing. So a test manager, scripting engineer, along with the tools associated with that process, come to site and help you deploy and implement those Cisco technologies in a pre-staging environment. Of course, we have customers that insist on that being built in labs, quite rightly so, particularly with some of the complex implementations. So the automation and testing service, which, by the way, is inherently part of the subscription that you pay for business critical services, helps to automate and drive automation and accelerate the adoption of your technologies. And fundamentally, and I think this is the important piece, to help you de-risk the implementation. And from a Cisco perspective, when we talk about customer experience, that's critical. We want you to come back and buy more hardware. We want you to come back and be a customer that loves us. And from a Cisco perspective, the BCS, the Business Critical Services piece, this piece here is all about how we help de-risk, accelerate, and drive innovation in your network. And that's important for us. The other aspect is compliance and automation. This is a huge capability that sits within Business Critical Services, again, as part of the subscription service. And we're often faced with our customers who are challenged with the regulatory environment, where they have to have a high degree of compliance with, be it software or hardware in the network, but also a high degree of compliance from a corporate point of view. And the compliance and automation capability is fundamentally about how we help you become compliant. So this capability and the tools associated with it, and of course the Cisco expertise, helps identify the level of compliance, be that associated with a corporate compliance standard, or of course a regulatory or industry compliance standard. So in essence, what we're doing is we're running reports to assess how compliant your network is with the associated regulatory environment, or indeed the corporate blueprint, the corporate focus around compliance. And so that's what we're doing here. The key thing here is automation, automation, automation. There's a huge amount of what, this is not 100 people sat behind doing reports. This is a set of tools with expertise from Cisco that help you understand how to drive compliance and drive that compliance for you. And I think the automation piece is important. The other aspect of this service is the configuration. This is really important for us. This is where we have customers who have small change windows with hundreds, if not thousands, of devices that need to change, whether it's a configuration change or even a software update. Well, part of this service is how our tooling and expertise can help accelerate and de-risk the change in your network. And there are some examples here, whether that's automating configuration, whether it's automating software updates, or of course driving compliant reports. And I'll give you one example. I was last year recently involved in a customer who wanted to use this service. They were being told it was a 3 to 4 month process to invoke changes over 1,000 devices. That's really quite difficult. An awful lot of change windows, an awful lot of sunk costs associated with that change. With the compliance service, the automation service, what we did is we did over 1,000 changes in one 8-hour change window. Now, an 8-hour change window is pretty long, I know that, for the IT leaders in the room. But within the 8-hour change windows, we placed changes on 1,000 devices. 1,000 devices. That was software updates, that was configuration changes. And so that gives you an idea from a 3-4 month project to change 1,000 devices to one 8-hour change window. Now, don't get me wrong, there was huge amounts of planning, there was huge amounts of testing that went on for that, but we absolutely implemented that service. And that's another example of where we're combining Cisco expertise with automation and with tooling. And that's the differentiated capability that helps drive value in your network and reduce your costs.
Tony, I mean, there's some fantastic features there from our business critical services, but what does it look like if you go through like on a daily basis? What's it like to engage with our service?
Well, for those IT leaders in the room, I apologize. I'm going to be an IT guy for a few minutes, if I may, so humor me. What I'd like to do now is take you through the day in the life of an IT operations manager consuming this service. It's 8 o'clock, I'm logged in. I'm using business critical insights to get a feel for what's gone on in my network. It's giving me some data, some insights associated with what's changed in my network, any potential risks, any potential issues. It's giving me a view on the software view and the assets and inventory management. I just check in on a daily basis. We call it a good morning screen. So I'm logging in, and it's a good morning. I've got no issues. I do notice something, though. There's a bit of an issue. I can see from the Insights portal, I've got a red flag. There's a red alert telling me that I've got 45 devices in a particular cluster that have a greater than 30% risk of outage. I'm a bit concerned about that because that has a real business impact and a part of my business that would really cause me a problem. So I've sent an email to the network customer engineer from Cisco and the operations manager. I know they're already aware of it, but I want a conversation on this today because I want to know how they're going to mitigate that risk. It's 9 o'clock. I've got a meeting now. I'm in the meeting with the compliance and automation team. We did 350 changes this weekend, a fantastic change window for us, 350 devices, 348 successful, 2 failed. I want to know why 2 failed. I want a conversation not about how successful the 348 were, but why we had 2 failures. The good thing about this is with the compliance team, they're talking me through what happened. The important point is they had rollback, clearly had rollback. So there was no impact to my business, but we had 2 devices that failed. So a good change window with root cause analysis already clear and understood, and I know what plans they're going to do to remediate those two locations for me. The other piece of this meeting, I'm talking through the compliance team, and we're talking about a major change window coming forward. We're looking at the configuration aspects, and I'm looking at 1,000 devices. Again, I'm looking over the next 2 or 3 weeks, a number of change windows when I need to make a lot of changes. I don't want them done in a day. They can tell me they can do that. I want to spread my risk. So we're talking to the planning team and the automation team about what they're going to do to script this. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident on the weekend's changes. I'm feeling pretty good about what they're telling me about the plans are in terms of how they will change it for the next change window over the next 3 weeks. I've got a major change going on in the data center. This is pretty impactful. Some pretty complex technologies. I'm now talking to the automation team and the configuration team. So from a testing point of view, I've got the compliance team and the change team. They're in this meeting with me now. I'm talking to the team around the test plans. This really worries me. This is a major change. I've got the Cisco service, part of the business critical services that I pay for. They're in the meeting, they're talking to me about what the test plans look like. They've done some pre-staging, they're showing me the test scripts, they're showing me the success of the test plans. I'm not convinced. I want more from this. This is too big. This is too risky for my network to be satisfied in one meeting. I've asked the Cisco team to set me up a lab in their data center, not mine. I want it in their data center. I want these tests really run through. I'll be visiting the Cisco data center with the test engineer, with the test manager, and the operations team, along with my team, to witness this test and change firsthand. I'm that concerned. What's good about this is Cisco have already done this. They've done the test scripts, they've done it, and they're really confident. But they expect and understand my risks and my concerns, and so we're going to go into their data center and they're going to replicate and build the labs out to test it so that I can see this working. And that's really important for me. It's 1 o'clock. Good meetings with Cisco today. Feel pretty confident about that. the testing, the scripting, the compliance, feeling good about that. I'm into the Insights portal. I've got a meeting coming up this afternoon. I'm looking at the performance of my network. I'm exploring the KPIs. Are the KPIs good? Are there any red flags? Anything for me to be concerned about from a dashboard and operations perspective. My network manager is going to be in the meeting. I feel good about that. I know that he's looked at this as well. I'm having a look at this. I'm seeing if there are any security reports, any vulnerabilities that I need to be aware of. I'm exploring that in terms of making sure that I'm aware of the exposure that I may or may not have before I go into this meeting, because this meeting is really important. I'm now meeting. It's 3 o'clock. This is my weekly meeting with the team. This is the best meeting of the week, because I have some real experts from Cisco at the table that truly understand my network. Not the devices in it, but how my network is bolted together. They understand my architecture. They understand my implementation. They understand the exposure and risks associated with the different environments that I've deployed Cisco in. And this is really important to me because it feels like they're part of my extended team. This is not a TAC engineer who's talking about a specific device. This is a customer engineer who's talking about my network, with an operations manager that understands release and change and configuration management and truly understands my environment. What's really on the agenda today, I want to know what best practice they've done. Because these guys are supposed to tell me, based on the insights they capture from the data from my network, where can I improve it? Where can I improve my SLA from 99.98 to 99.9? How are they going to do that for me? That's what I care about, because that's what I'm running. So this meeting is really important. So they're going to talk to me about where they can improve and drive operational efficiency in my network. And we'll review that with them. What's really important for this meeting, these are the same team that I emailed this morning that also looked at and saw the red flag in terms of the fingerprinting. This exposure that I've got a 30% risk of outage with some network assets. The team are now talking me through the risk associated with that. What are the potential risks? What is the mitigation plan? What are their plans to make sure that I don't get exposed with that risk through this fingerprinting? This machine learning that Cisco are now doing, which is really giving me the insight and predictability about making sure that I don't have that fault and have an outage, which is really important for me. So a good day with Cisco. 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm a network operations manager. It happens. Okay, it happens. 1 o'clock, I get my text alert. I've got a severity 1 outage. I'm now concerned, I'm now pretty worried. A severity 1 outage in my world that's my job. Right, so I'm now pretty worried about this. The good news is I'm subscribing to the business critical services, and automated fault management and incident management has already detected the issue. It's already created and triaged the event, not just in terms of TAC. So I've now got a TAC engineer who, by the way, has got copy of the configuration information, the show commands from the device that has caused this problem, is already troubleshooting this before I get out of bed. He's already looking at the issue, because AFM has triggered a Cisco TAC case. Not only that, it's got the information to help me troubleshoot that, it's also triaged and triggered in Remedy. So my incident response team, my incident management team, and my own network team are now already working on this problem, which is crucial. I'm not spending 30 minutes dealing with triaging. It's happening in the background. It's all automated. And that's really important for me, because that's reducing my time to resolution. It's reducing my time to resolution, which is a cost issue for me. Notwithstanding that, I've got a severity 1. This can't be hours. This is minutes. And that's important. The important piece here is this is the expert care service kicking in. So this is my operations manager from Cisco. This is my customer engineer from Cisco that's helping triage, working with TAC, working with my network team, working with my incident management team to help solve that problem. And that's important. That auto-ticketing and that triaging of that activity is critically important to help drive the time to resolution down for me in my business. It's 1:30 a.m. I'm now on the call. The good news is it's fixed. I know it doesn't already happen like that. It's fixed. It's 1:30. The important thing here is that was fixed within 30 minutes. The important thing is the triaging activity and the automation that AFM enables was crucial to a time to resolution. And on a severity 1 incident, that is important. I don't care how they do it. What I care about is they do it. So from a Cisco point of view, thank you. What's really important now for me is that's great, but in the morning when I go into the office, I know the CIO will be waiting for me. He'll want to know what root cause analysis. RCA is really important. When I have an outage, my focus, solve the problem. When it's solved, my focus, why did I have the problem in the first place? And the value of the Cisco service here is that whilst I go away and review that with my team, the Cisco team will be providing me with a root cause analysis perspective. So when I go in the office, I'm able to articulate exactly why we had that problem and how we're going to mitigate that problem from happening again. And that's the day in the life of me, the operations manager, purchasing a business critical services. So where's the value then, having shared that with you? From our point of view, when we talk to our customers, and we've underpinned this with research, is that from an operations point of view, we have seen absolutely a 74% increase in less downtime with our customers. It is truly helping drive operational efficiency in our customers' network. And I'll just give you an example of a day in the life, and that is real, that's happening. From an engineering point of view, we're absolutely seeing improvements in terms of faster time to market. We work hand in hand with our customer engineers, helping them understand the best implementation, the best practice, and from an implementation point of view. And that's truly helping, and that partnership truly helps accelerate that implementation, and it helps accelerate the adoption of our technologies. And from an architectural point of view, making the right technology choices in the first place and the right architecture is critical in making sure that I don't have those issues in the first place. And we're absolutely seeing an improvement, in that perspective as well, Alistair.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tony. Round of applause for Tony. Thank you very much. Tony is the only man who can speak faster than I can. So between us, we've actually got 10 minutes left, which is amazing. So thank you very much, Tony. I think we've heard a lot there about what business critical services can do to help you as a customer and with our partners as well. The key takeaways for me really are, it's one of the fastest products we've ever brought to market. You know, we've got over 3,000 customers that currently consume this service. And there's a huge amount of information and data that we could talk you through. But it isn't possible to do Q&A in here because of all the noise. If you look over there, into the little green section there, okay, you waving? Right. You see those ninjas over there that are waving at you? That is the business critical team, and they would love to go and talk to you. So after the presentation's finished, I was going to do a conga, but they've banned me. You know, I can't do that. But if you'd like to go over and see our team over there afterwards and spend a little bit of time, they can take you through the dashboards, take you through the analytics, and take you through all the information. And with that, I'm going to give you 9 minutes back in your day. I want to thank you for being here, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay.